Let's have a conversation around the side door, or what might be plan C, right? Because often we look at things and we look at our goals and our dreams happening going through the front door or the back door, last resort, but we don't get creative enough to go through the side.
Creator Podcast.
My name is Dion Williams, aka Dion Does, and I truly believe that we were all created in the image of the ultimate creator, and therefore it's in us all to create. And this show aims to help you and I both level up in this four-dimensional game of life so that we can go out and create for good, whether that's for ourselves, our family, the community around us, but all of this a part of a generational vision of a family of creators coming together to be the difference. Creator fam, welcome back. Episode, is it 51, I think? Something after 50, 51, 52, something like that, man. I am loving this thing. I hope you guys are still enjoying it as well. Hope you guys still feel blessed. And shout out to everyone that's letting me know that, man. It might seem like it's not a big deal to you, but you guys taking the time to let me know that you got something out of the episode means the world. So please keep that up. Please keep dropping the 5-star ratings on whatever app you're listening to. Leave a comment. Helps other people that come across it, man. Believe in it. Know what to expect. You know, anyone could say they got a good podcast, but if they got an army of listeners co-signing it, it means something. And that helps me grow this thing. So I appreciate that. I'm grateful. Today, I'm talking about the side door. What do I mean by that? This is a conversation about resourcefulness, right? Because, I mean, at its essence, because when we think of our goals and our dreams happening, usually we think about it happening the easy way, right? Just straightforward. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to study. I'm going to get good grades. I'm going to graduate college. I'm going to get a great job. And we'll be realistic, right? Like I'll get a good starting salary, and then I'll work hard, and then I'll get promotions, and I'll stay within the company, and then I'll have my first kid. And like we just have this straightforward approach to a lot of things. And then some of us have enough resilience that if that front door is locked, we'll at least say, okay, I'll go through the back door. But sometimes we need to be resourceful enough to look at maybe another entry or something that wasn't in the initial set of plans and get creative. And we see this. Some of the greatest businesses were pivots. And I'm not thinking of the ones that I want to off the top of my head, of course, because I'm on national live internet. But if we do our research, there's so many companies that were like the second idea or the third or fourth idea with them trying something. They thought they knew how something was supposed to go, but it didn't go that way. And so they had to get resourceful and find another way of getting it done. And sometimes that's what we might need in our marriage, right? You thought marriage was going to go this way. Well, surprise, it was a little different than what you thought. And success in your marriage may have to look a little bit different. But it sucks. And I was inspired by this talking to a student who basically, we could just say it's unmet expectations. They thought something was going to go a certain way, and it didn't. And so they're like, you know what? I'm going to try again from another way. And yep, shut down. And at that point, they were in panic mode because they were feeling low on resources and they couldn't see a way out and they couldn't see things improving. And I've talked to you guys about creating doors and walking through invisible doors. Sometimes you got to have the resilience and the creativity to go a different route. I'm not saying you got to quit and give up on your dreams. I'm just saying maybe it might not look like how you've been dreaming every time you go to bed. And it still could be just as amazing, maybe even better, but the story is going to look a little bit different. All right, so our principle comes to us from MacGyver, who says the best way to beat a problem is to make it work for you. I love that, right? And that speaks to what I'm getting at here, is that most people would think that a problem is a problem. How's a problem even going to work for you? Some people's brains are struggling to even compute that. Like, no, it's a problem. And he's showing so much resourcefulness here, creativity, and saying that, no, I'm going to be glad that I had this problem. Some examples from my life. Man, I'm actually really grateful that my family and I grew up broke. Like broke. I know what it's like. There's certain people, and it's funny, I talk to them and they're entrepreneurs and they are so scared of failure. They've never tasted that. They don't know what it's like, which is common, right? Things we've never experienced before, they just scare us. They scare us. And so people don't want to have to feed their family with food stamps and be dead broke, not know where, not knowing how they're going to pay for things the next month. And I don't either. I don't want to feel that, but I've been there. And God was just as real in that place as he is here. Just as accessible, just as gracious. And so it actually, a lot of the fear that other people have when they're making moves and making decisions, I don't have. Another reason I'm grateful for that is it taught me a lot. It taught me resourcefulness. It's crazy. So Melanie, if you guys are familiar with like the creator side of what I do, which is like all of the teaching and personal development and business coaching. So Melanie is our lead coach over there. So if you're one of my students, you know who Melanie is. Melanie is such a great person for me to bounce ideas off with, or be talking about the business, because I'm gonna be honest, I've gotten lazy. I've had too many successful years in entrepreneurship where I'll just throw money at things just because I know, just so I don't have to think about it. That's not always bad, right? Sometimes it 100% for me makes sense to just pay a little bit of extra money to not even have to deal with the hassle of certain things. Like valet. I used to think people that did valet were like snobby and like, you can't park your own car. Boy, I get some money. I'll never valet. I'll never be too good to just find me a parking spot and walk. What are they, lazy? Man, I'll go to like Chick-fil-A. I'm like, yo, do they got valet somewhere? Is it possible, right? Why not? Why not bless someone else with some extra money? And I don't even got to think about finding a parking spot. I don't have to want to box the old lady because she cut me off to take the parking spot. I'm going to just valet. But there's other times where you're just being way too lazy and you're crazily overspending. And Melanie grew up, I wouldn't say broke. She's definitely not broke now, but more of like her parents were very frugal. And so they didn't like to spend much. They didn't save things. So she's not even used to balling out on stuff and acting crazy. So there'll be certain things where I'm like, yeah, let's just do it this way. And she's like, it don't got to be that expensive. We could just quickly fix it, right? Without having to spend that much money. And so you may be in a similar situation, maybe not even financially, just it could be in your marriage, it could be in your health, whatever. You've seen a level of success and you've taken your foot off the gas of resourcefulness. And you're always, you're very lazy in your problem solving in that area. And that's something you got to watch out for, because at the end of the day, resourcefulness can beat all the resources in the world. And you never want to get caught slipping. Now, I think and I'm not saying that it's bad to have resources. It's not bad to have time, money, energy. All these things are great. But you're going to go a lot further having both, and because you're going to maximize your resources, right? When you're resourceful with them. And so, one more time, our principle from Mr. MacGyver: the best way to beat a problem is to make it work for you. It's very, very simple, people. I need to do an upcoming episode on simplicity. We haven't attacked it head on, but we talk about it, right? It's always about keeping things simple, man. Don't overcomplicate it. Your principle: is all around resourcefulness. Okay? So here's what I want you to do. Pull out your creator frame, which is the 4 dimensions of this game that we call life: our faith, relationships, energy, economics. And I want you to just scan through that bad boy. And I want you to find places where you might feel hopeless. You might not see a way out. You don't see a way of improving. You know, a small place. I started testing this. Man, me and my wife had this. I would have to think longer to think about how long it was. It was some months, but it wasn't like a year, where we were just fighting over dumb stuff, and not even like crazy fights like, "Fluff you, I'm taking the kids, I'm out." No, like just arguments. Like I don't know if we didn't have enough going on or what, but we were just being petty over dumb stuff. And I would feel this sense of hopelessness in the argument sometimes, because I could just tell based off what I said and what she was saying, like, all right, this ain't about to get better no time soon. And sometimes I would keep it going, or I'd even try to fix it. But at that point, like when it hit that point, I was like, nah, she gonna be mad for a while. Fellas, you ever been there? Like you said something, it didn't sound as crazy in your head when you said it, but then you see the look on her face, you like, God dang. Oh yeah, I'm in trouble. It's gonna be a while before she forget that one, right? Like one of those. And so that hopeless moment would hit, and we were doing it enough. We were arguing enough that I had the conscious thought of, you know what? I'm gonna be a little. I don't know what I was listening to. Might have been a sermon. Might have been. I don't know. But it inspired me to be a little bit more resourceful. So when that hopeless feeling would hit in the argument, I'd be like, you know what? What's another way we can resolve this, right? Maybe because I would get that sense of hopelessness based off of past results. But in the past results, I was saying a lot of the same things. So maybe, right? I was like, if you approach it differently, you might get a different result. And again, it wasn't a way that I was looking. I would try to go through the front door or the back door, and then after that, I'm like, all right, fluff it, we got beef then. But once I was like, you know what, let me check out at the side door though. Let me try this way. I've never gone in. And I found power, and I was able to turn around some of those hopeless feelings in the conversations. And which was probably, again, if I think about it enough, it's probably the reason why we stopped doing it. And so, again, this doesn't have to be with your money. This isn't a business concept. This isn't for people that just are trying to build their careers. This is everywhere. I have some of these conversations with people with faith. There's a lot of people that don't believe in God because they have these pre-existing beliefs that they just can't get by. And when you explain something to someone, right? Like for someone, they might be like, yo, I just don't believe there's God because there's so many different ones. How can yours be true and mine's true? And we might have a conversation about truth and how it's hard for you to have your own truth and I have my own truth, because then we really have no truth. Although it sounds good, right? Like it's on t-shirts, you see it on memes. It's like, my truth is my truth. Your truth is your truth, right? And that's the only way people look at it. That's their front and back door. We give them another understanding. Like, yeah, that ain't even possible. We can't do that. Then they're in a whole new world where now they're like, man, now I can even think about believing in a God, having a relationship with a God. And so I urge you to reconsider some things. Look at the side door in your faith, in your relationships, in your energy, economics. I truly think it's going to bless you. And maybe, like Mr. MacGyver, you can beat some of your problems by making them work for you. That completely strips the power from them because they stop being problems and they stop having their power. Turns into a fuel. You need some more fuel for the soul? Please check out freecreatorcode.com. I'm going to tell you every episode till you go ahead, get the free printout, understand what it is that we live by here, the code that fuels us as a family, as a movement of creators. I love you guys. Stay safe. And I'm going to holler at you mañana. God first. God bless.